Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and a member show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. How are you? Good to see you. And I hope you're well this morning. Tudo bem? Como está? Do let me know in the chat what you've been up to this weekend. I was happily just looking at the news, a little bit of which I'll share with you. And I realized it was 8 o'clock. So nice to be here. And this morning, after our Bom Dia Daily, where we'll take a little bit of a look at the news, the weather, a bit of well-being, a bit of language and culture, we will talk to James. Changes for James, I think, which he'll tell us all about at around 8:20. And at 8:40, would ordinarily have Bob and Viv, who have been visiting Scotland. Now, of course, some really extreme and sometimes terrifying weather going on along that Celtic coastline. And Bob and Viv have been in Edinburgh, and I think maybe on the move as a result of having to anticipate more difficulties or possible difficulties with the weather. So they may join us. If not, we've got a lovely slideshow, some beautiful photographs. We had a little preview, didn't we, on Friday? And we've got some wonderful bagpipe playing as well. Obligatory visit to Scotland bagpipe video. So if you like bagpipes, you're in for a treat. If you don't, and they are the Marmite instrument, aren't they? Or one of a little handful of Marmite instruments like the accordion, the mouth organ possibly, and the bagpipes. But if you do like bagpipes, you come to the right place this morning. Coach Turner, good morning to you. I think it's a little bit of a sleepy morning. That weather, the wind and the rain is keeping people in bed perhaps. Are you having a duvet day this morning? You all right there, Mrs. M? She's getting a potion. From what's in that? Oh, colloidal silver. Excellent. Good stuff, colloidal silver. I don't know if you use that. Gemini Bradshaw, good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Gemini is issuing to us, and Mike and Karen in Miranda de Corvo. How you doing? Bon dia, Gumpers. From Mike, I suspect, this morning. Not long now, Mike, until... Is it this Wednesday when it's the... or was it last Wednesday? I think it's... You see, it always used to be the fourth Wednesday when the lunch was happening in San Martino de Porto. Maybe it's the last Wednesday now. Maybe that's the convention. I've got a feeling, because I haven't seen any photographs or seen anyone saying how fantastic it was, that it's this coming Wednesday. What have you chosen? If it's this Wednesday, Mike, what have you chosen? What has Marco delighted you with on this occasion? €25 there, main course, dessert, coffee or tea. I think there's some of those lovely homemade iced teas as well on arrival. So that's probably this week. And I do want to tell you as well a little bit more, getting more requests for information about the event that's happening, our Valentine's weekend here in San Martino de Porto, which really isn't far away now, just 3 weekends away on the 15th. That's the main event is on the evening of the 15th, but I'll say more about that in a little while. I hope you can join us for that, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun and hopefully the first of many. Seen last week relating to Scotland, what's the collective noun for trampolines? I don't know, Coach Turner. Excuse me, I do not know, Coach Turner. What is the collective noun for trampolines? It's this Wednesday. That's good to know. Thank you very much, Mike, for putting me straight on that. Jackie's just in as well. And thank you, Jackie, for your correspondence about the Munson and the Geezer show tomorrow. Come along, Mike, tomorrow as well to that. And push back against the old far-right curious Portugueser tomorrow evening for Munson and the Geezer. Morning to you this morning, Hugh, as well. How are you? How's your weather in Visio this morning? Okay, let's have a look at that first news item this morning then. This isn't exactly hot off the press. It came out earlier in the year, and I think it might have been while the show was having a little sleep. No, I think we were back on air. But I missed this, and I saw a lovely mention of it from the lovely lady who is My Beautiful Country on X, formerly Twitter. And this is about TAP being the safest airline in Europe, which is good to know. I know TAP gets a bit of stick from time to time, as in TAP stands for Take Another Plane. However, good reason to fly TAP. Moves up to 11th place in the world ranking. So it's risen there in the world ranking of safety. In 2025, TAP reclaims its place as Europe's safest airline in the top 25 of the world's safest carriers drawn up by airline ratings. And this is from their own press release at tapairportugal.com. The 25, and I think this is interesting as well to see well, they're not. I guess we shouldn't see it so much as a competition as a ranking, and see if your favorite airlines are in there. 25 safest airlines in the world for 25 are in order. At number one, Air New Zealand. Qantas is number 2. Cathay Pacific, Qatar Airways, and Emirates. They are the 3 ex-IQO, apparently. I don't know what that means, but they must be part of the same group there. 4 Virgin Australia, 5 Etihad Airways, 6 ANA, never heard of them. ANA, is that Australian National Airways, something like that? EVA Air at number 7, 8 Korean Air. How many of these have you flown? 9 Alaska Airlines. They must have to deal with a lot of cold weather conditions there, right? Each of these airlines having a speciality, I suppose. 10 Turkish Airlines, THY, and at 11 TAP Air, followed closely by Hawaiian Airlines. And I was thinking, there's not many American airlines in there, are there? But they come in at 13 American Airlines, as in the name of. And we've got United at 23 and Delta at 21. And interestingly, I think all of these airlines do have pet names. Should we call them pet names or nicknames, which are a little bit of a passive aggression towards them from some customers on some occasions. But well done, TAP, on being the safest in Europe and 11th safest in the world. It doesn't say how many airlines there are altogether in the world there, does it? Anyway, 11th out of what, I wonder? Very wet, cold, windy morning here in the southeast of England. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, gentlemen, unless you like it that way. But that seems to be the way of things. And, do you know how hard it is to find out a general news item on what's going on with the weather at the moment? I realized that I get a lot of my news from X because I like to be able to search for the topic that I'm interested in. And then I hope I've chosen a range of people who will approach it from different angles among my, likes and preferences on Twitter. And I was thinking there's bound to be something about the weather in there. Or it usually comes under the name of the storm, doesn't it? That's currently ravaging a part of Europe. Certainly that's the bit that I'm looking at most often. Nothing today. And maybe that's because there's always seems to be a storm now. Every week, your weekly storm. I mean, they do obviously vary in intensity. And this one at the moment, and I can't, was it a Spanish name? Possibly. And I've got a red triangle. It's a bit like the news crying wolf as well, isn't it? We are. I don't know if the threshold has been changed such that what should be getting our attention in the news has been lowered significantly. But I'm seeing a wind warning this morning, and I'll have a look at the weather now. Then let's go see what's happening with the weather in our own estimation here, shall we? So there you go. Well done, TAP, and let's have a look, see what the weather's doing on our Good Morning Portugal Spartan FX weather. I was going to call them Spartan FM then. What a great idea that would be. What is the first track you'd be likely to hear on Spartan FM? Money, money, money. Must be funny in a rich man's world. Are those the lyrics? I should know them. I sang them on stage once. Right, let's have a look at our very own website where we're still celebrating Green and Red Monday. It's still Green and Red Monday, funnily enough. Yes. Right here, if you're in Portugal, you are experiencing Green and Red Monday. Morning, John. Bom Dia Portugal from João Ernesto do Norte as well. Yeah, your colleagues up there in the north have gone even further north, and we'll find out how they're doing. That'll be Bob and Viv. And if we can't speak to them directly, we'll get a lovely slideshow of their time up there in Edinburgh, at the very least. I thought it was hilarious when Bob was explaining to the Nando staff that they lived only minutes really away from Barcelos, where the Nando's mascot comes from. The staff were like, "What are you talking about?" They had no idea what he was talking about, which must have been an interesting moment for Bob and Viv. It doesn't matter. I'll just have me chicken and chili sauce, please. Bon dia, rapaziada from JMC. How you doing, JMC? What's up, John? Do I need to pick up the pace, or is that just how you're feeling this morning? Huge rainfall, 56 millimeters in the. It is that sort of morning, isn't it? It really is. Morning, John. Sleepyhead. Huge rainfall, 56 millimeters in the last 24 hours. My goodness. That means 56 liters of rain in 1 square meter. The river is raging. That's not a metaphor. He's got a river. Have you got a couple of rivers meeting at the bottom of your garden there? Yes, of course. Tres rios. 3 rivers right there. And they are, well, I guess they're all raging right now. Okay, let's have a look at this weather then. And we're going to go to our weather page. You can see this at goodmorningportugal.com/weather, where you can get your free copy of the Moving Money to Portugal guide. What's happening? Has Trump changed the currency very much? For those of you who keep an eye on that, as the inauguration and second term of Trump really changed things very much currently, or has he not? Has he not rattled his saber in that department just yet? 17 degrees in Lisbon will be the high today. It's currently 16, and a rainy day. Been looking at this, haven't we, for the last week, and it's been rain forecast for us for some way into the future. Definitely not a sunny day yesterday on my tally. I must change that again on my tally. We had a good run of days with sunshine. Definitely none yesterday. It was quite the wet and windy day here in Leiria. And with sun returning at the end of the week. So there you go. So a warm, sunny Saturday, possibly. Forecast so far. Porto, 14 degrees with scattered clouds. The high today of 15. And the temperature dropping tomorrow to 12. Coming back up again for Friday, where it may well be sunny up there in the north. Coimbra, 13 degrees currently. Overcast with clouds. Rising to 16 today. And rain today, tomorrow. Right through until Friday, Saturday, where it may be sunny. Faro, misty this morning, 18 degrees the high today, currently 17. And Braga, 11 degrees, currently overcast with clouds, rising to 14. Excuse me, and it'll be 11, 10, and 15 until Friday, 15, bringing sunshine on Friday at the end of the week. Aveira, similarly, as I scroll down, we are looking at sunshine returning towards the end of the week, is the overall estimation here for Portugal. And then briefly on the autonomous regions, on the islands, on the archipelagos, 16 degrees the high today for the Azores. Mark Ladelmeyer, it was lovely to hear from you on Facebook, who lives over there in the Azores, and I think has a fabulous guest house. If you're looking to stay with a gumper over in the Azores, the wonderful Mark Ladelmeyer is over there. 16 degrees, rainy in the Azores, and as far as the eye can see, I think until Sunday, when it's still going to be cloudy, but not raining at least, a bit of a respite from the rain. Madeira, currently 8 degrees, will rise to 16. That's a nice rise. Who doesn't like a nice rise first thing in the morning? And Tuesday, sun returning earlier then in Madeira than the rest of the country. Tuesday and Wednesday, nice sunny days, 13 and 14 degrees respectively. Don't forget, if you go over to our weather page, you can have a deep dive on the community weather stations of Barrack in Central and Phil on the Silver Coast. Good to see you on Saturday, Phil and Maria. For a somewhat poignant occasion, our friends the Kings were having a leaving do, and it was lovely to give you a proper send-off, the Kings. Now, some of you here, I think, Joao Ernesto, you may remember Leaf and Susan. They're returning to the United States soon, and we wish you all the best to you both. Wow! Yesterday was buckets of chuva. Buckets of chuva. That sounds like, I was thinking this morning, what are there any wine ninjas here? What wine are we doing on the first Monday of February? Buckets of chuva, buckets of vino sounds like, we already did that though, didn't we? We did wine boxes. Was that the last one we did? I think it was. What did we decide to do for the first Monday of February? Does anyone remember? JMC, paregar a batata. What does that mean? I look like a potato? Pa regar a batata. Do you know what? I might need to. I can't cut and paste from comments. JMC, let me know what that means. And we've also got, we'll do a little bit of lingo. Maybe you can help us, JMC, this morning. There go the 300 days. No, not yet. Who sold it? made buckets of money. Stop it, Jay. You're another 300-day cynic, I wonder. Talking about Portuguese culture, I seem to have rattled the cultural cage with my video of, well, first of all, asking people the right way to eat pastel de nata. It was this was the picture that started it all, that flashed across social media about a week ago. I decided to try it myself, and it was a fairly popular video, I have to say, of oozing custard running down my hands. And then I'm getting messages coming in as well, telling me I think I prefer the stuffing it in me gob way. And if I stop that, if I stop the ticker tape for a moment here on the Bon Dia Daily, ahead of James, who's joining us in about 5 minutes. Apparently, you are an auntie from Cascais. No, not you, James. You're an auntie from somewhere else soon, I think. Apparently, you are an auntie from Cascais if you eat it like that. And I can see the tears of Cascais eating a pastel de nata. They're pastéis. And actually, nobody's corrected me on that yet, because I've been calling them pastels de nata in a very English way. And of course, they should be pastéis in the plural. I'm getting the nod from James. Muito bem. Right. So there you go. That's the way the Tias de Cascais eat their pastel de natas. And most of the Dream Team Town Hall panel. And it would appear, and I think I'll have to write about that in the Portugal Resident this week. It would appear the country is torn and divided. What? How is the country torn and divided? Overeating. Long may it continue. That be the worst problem this country has, is arguing over the best way to eat a pastel de nata. So there you go. How do you eat yours? Do you like to spoon? I'm getting the feeling a lot of Portuguese people do like to spoon. They just don't like to admit it necessarily. Right. Bon Dia Daily Deal. Thank you very much. I was thinking to myself, why didn't I do this before? A deal for you every day of some kind. Isn't that a great idea to share with you a deal? And we had Colleen Showalter kicking things off with a 5% off service packages over at Portugal The Place on Friday. And this, we continue with Green and Red Monday, of course, and good news. Or is it? What do you think of this? Your Bon Dia Daily Deal today, something I saw in Intermarché yesterday. Now, I want one of these coffee machines, and the Greta Thunberg inside me recoils at the idea of creating loads of plastic waste. And I still want one. And I just don't know. Stop it, James. I still want one. And I saw this deal yesterday. There's a time and a place for these. They're already made. All the coffee's already made, isn't it? In those plastic pots. All these machines are made. And one of them is currently on sale. The Intermarché own brand. Por si. There you go. There's a bit of language for you. For you. Por si. Now, they're preços baixos. They're low price. Todos os dias. Everyday low prices at Intermarché Por si. They have got a coffee machine here. Talk about a daily deal. 31 euros and 90 centimos of your dinero there. And you get, not only do you get the machine for that, you get 128 capsules, which by my mathematics makes the coffee. I mean, how many days would that last you? If you have 2 coffee shots a day, that's 2 months of coffee for 32 euros. We still haven't got a name. Colin was joking when he said the nickname for the euro is the Deutschmark. I think that's hilarious, but it's not what you say, is it? Like quids or bucks. Why has the euro not got a nickname? Anyway, but for nearly 32 of them, you're getting a coffee machine, 128 capsules, which is 25 cents a cup, folks. That is a daily deal if ever I saw one. I'll be very surprised if there's any of those left. It might even be one of those deals where you think, that's too cheap. There must be something wrong with that. And I think that's a good deal if you're on holiday, isn't it? Buy one of those at the start of your holiday, and you've got coffee at 20. Another thing to boast about being in Portugal. Hey, look at this. Lovely, hot, lovely. Well, it should be sunny out there, but it's wet and windy at the moment. But I'm getting a cup of coffee for 25 cents each shot. In your holiday apartment when you're playing cards all day because it's raining at the moment. But I think that's quite extraordinary. Almost disposable, you might say, at which point James will shake his head again. I think. Right, so there's your Bon Dia Daily Deal. Right then, not sure we're going to hear from Bob and Viv this morning, are we? Because I think they're on the move, and we will be moving. Oh, it's 20 past. It is time to let him out. I was going to say, bring him onto the screen. The beast that is James. Just a quickie then. Oh, this is what I wanted to ask you. We're having our little phrases, which I think are quite helpful. Great phrases to chuck into your vocabulary and your interactions. Javi, I've seen it. Didn't get a chance to turn my avatar into saying this, but JMC, is this right? And I think this is what a shop assistant said to me the other day as he took me to the back of the shop to exchange my keyboard and mouse, which I'm now using now. Vai comigo, come with me. I mean, he's saying go with me, but vai comigo, is that correct? And should we be using that, scholars of Portuguese? I think your well-being news is going to have to be well-being for your wallet this morning, because it's time to bring, which is the 25 cents a coffee deal, it's time to bring James on.
Bom dia!
Woo! Feel that heat from the audience. A nice warm hand on your opening there, James. How are you?
Stop it. Not now.
The time and a place.
Yes.
How are you?
Sure.
How are you?
Oh, fantástico, obrigado.
Right. And you had a busy week, didn't you?
I did. I have a couple observations before we get too far into it.
Is it about the coffee machine?
Because I've done the math on the coffee.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that when you buy the cups, they're pre-made and they're basically non-destroyable when you get rid of them. Mm-hmm. So they leave your house, but then they stay somewhere forever. Mm-hmm. They make stainless steel cups that fit these coffee machines. So you can pack your own coffee, make your coffee, and clean your cups, and you get it with the same ease, other than that you have to put some coffee in one of those cups to make
I can't be bothered with all of that.
That's too much work. I'll just pollute the planet for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That's all right. I mean, you're right though, that there is no such thing as throwing something away. It's just being moved somewhere else.
It just leaves your house, yes. Unless it's compostable and you're composting it. Then then it still goes somewhere else, but it goes somewhere that's helpful.
Yes.
And then I did the math, because I make my own coffee every day. I have a little, I guess they call them Italian coffee makers. So I put the coffee in the little straining cup and pack it down. And
did you say Italian?
I think so. I don't know what they're called. It's a coffee maker.
One that screws together and sits on the stove.
Yeah, and then it boils water up through, percolates, and makes a beautiful, delicious cup of coffee.
It does.
And when I did the math on it, and again, if I'm looking at the environment, the packaging is probably going to last forever too, just on the coffee itself. But it's one bag. It lasts me. Well, I only have one coffee a day, which makes it easy to calculate. But it lasts me over a week each bag. The bag of coffee costs me €1.59, and I get 7. I think it's 2 weeks, so I get 14 cups of coffee.
Yeah,
from one bag of coffee grounds. And I broke it down. It cost me about 5 cents per cup.
Wow. Okay. So that
is versus really, $12 or $7 or whatever, or euros for a box of your little pre-packed cups. So economically, and I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it mostly for do the most I can to not add to the negative footprint on the planet.
Point taken. And that's why I haven't got one so far. I'm just thinking, if I had one on the desk here, I probably would make a coffee during the show. If you're watching, Delta, if I had one on the desk here, I would make a coffee during the show, Delta.
And talk about it.
And possibly talk about it quite a lot, Delta.
Hello.
Hello, is anyone there from Delta? Because that's the one I really want. I do know. And that's because I love the whole Delta vibe and story. Rui Nabeiro, I think, the founder, great Portuguese company. do like Delta and the association with Delta. So did I mention that if I had a Delta coffee machine on the top here, I might make a coffee during the show, Joe?
So if I'm hearing you correctly, if you had a Delta coffee machine, you would make your coffee on your show and talk about it.
You're right. Absolutely.
Is that what I heard correctly? Delta, right?
That's a good idea. Yes, Delta. Right. Okay. I'll make that a clip and send that across the internet and see what happens. Right. Maybe Intermarché will bring me one of theirs. I'll have 5 on here, and then you'll never speak to me again because I'll be surrounded by thousands of indestructible plastics. Little cups.
There you go. Well, they won't go to the machines won't go to the landfill. You just fill your kitchen with them.
Yes, I'll start a cafe. I had to open a cafe. Right. Okay. Yeah. Point taken on that. And of course, when the reason. Oh, that was you. It was JMC saying that's how they get you fixed to their coffee. Of course it is, and that's how any of these what are they call consumable systems work. That's why printers are cheap, isn't it? Because you have to keep buying their ink.
Yeah. Well, and then back in the 19th century, some genius decided that it would be that they made, I don't know the exact history of it, but kerosene became a thing. But then nobody was using it for anything. So the people that were producing the kerosene made lamps and gave them away.
Wow. Okay.
People said you need this liquid to make them run, but look at how well they run.
Who was that person? Yeah, and thereafter that became a thing, didn't it, to smart marketers the world over?
Yeah. So, and I don't know if they set the model for that capitalist marketing strategy or not, but it certainly works.
Based on
give them the thing that uses what needs to be used over and over and over and over, and then make a mint on the thing that you're.
That's right. That's right. Get it in the house. That's the important thing, isn't it? I buy an espresso. But then again, how many people have got a printer? If we could do a quick poll here this morning, how many people have got a printer here that they can't get to work, which is a backfire for HP or Epson who tried this on us? It's just got more and more complicated now, this whole printer thing. And then the printers arrive now without I was going to call it a manual cable, but you know what I mean? They're network printers.
They're all Wi-Fi oriented.
They don't have a port on them. They have a power input, and that's it. And you have to you have to somehow coax it onto your home network. And then
there's some tech person out there just shaking their head. Oh my God.
Well, yeah. Well, also, and rubbing their hands, right?
Because opportunity.
It's so easy.
Anish, get your printer running. That's all I do.
Yeah, going from house to house, getting people's printers running. They would fall at your feet and kiss you at the right times when you try to get a printer running.
I really needed this. Thank you so much.
That's right. I'm going to name my child after you.
What's your name?
Mr. Printer. What? That's a terrible name for my child. Right. I
also wanted to comment on the Portuguese phrase that you put out there. I don't know whether it's correct or not.
Okay.
But it reminded me, because I've been watching this series on Netflix, which is due to expire soon. It's been on a long time. And there's a name of a song. I believe the name is Eu Vou Contigo, which means I will go with you.
Yes.
And it was such a beautiful song, and it was just done, in a wedding scene. The person was singing the song at the wedding reception.
Yeah.
That I probably did an hour's worth of research to try and find out who sang it and what the name of it was and all the rest of it. I never succeeded. I used a song recognition app that said, this one's a tough one, can't find it. But to me, it's not often that any piece of music just grabs me like that. And this one was, of course, there's two things going on. Let me finish the music one. This one caught me, and it's all in Portuguese, so it repeats a lot, and it's slow. So I said, this would be perfect for acquiring some of the sound of the words in the language and learning the phrases, because some of the music is so fast, or there's all this instrumentation behind you can't really hear the words. There's lots of, if I want, for now, as a language learner, it'd be nice to get music that I can at least hear the words so that I can begin to repeat and learn. So there's that piece. The other piece is that the show itself is a Portuguese, I don't know, it's not a drama, it's not a comedy, it's just whatever that is, but it's a series and it's all in Portuguese. And it's basically about a Portuguese family, 3 generations living in the same household, just trying to get through their life. And it's sweet. You know, you don't ever have to worry that someone's going to die violently, or, you know, it's just them living their lives. And sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's sad. But if you have Netflix, Netflix, are you listening? No. I highly recommend it. And it's only I think there's only 8 episodes, so it's not like a 26 episode kind of thing. So
Well, yes. And the name of it again?
it's called, well, in English, it's Until Life Do Us Part.
Oh, yes. We, you or somebody has mentioned this before.
Yeah, I think that was me the last time.
Yes.
And because it's, you know, its time is getting short on Netflix, I wanted to get the word out because I highly recommend it as an opportunity to learn the language, but also it's entertaining.
Yeah.
It might not be exactly your genre or something, but in terms of getting an all Portuguese language show on an international, mostly English speaking platform.
Well, we do have to find the way that suits our learning style, don't we? And deep dive into it. I think that's really important. And if watching things is your way, what a great idea. Mr. S watches shorts in Portuguese, which he finds very helpful to improve oral comprehension. Very good.
Are they at the store, or are they on People, or where are those shorts?
Well, like as in small pants.
Oh, look, they've got shorts.
Do you mind, Mr. S? You're going to get arrested if you keep
nice shorts.
Oh,
that was just a glimpse into what my head does all the time.
We know what you mean, really. And also a Nespresso fan, maybe identifying with the George Clooney campaign.
They're finally getting a clue and getting recyclable, of course.
That
could mean in 1,000 years they will degrade, or it could mean that, you know, as soon as they get wet, they dissolve. They
all get sent to George Clooney, and he's going to build an Earthship with them in the New Mexico desert.
There you go.
I'd buy on that basis.
Well, I saw a very creative use of them at one of the Portuguese shops where they kind of sell a little bit of everything. It looks like a little hardware store, but they have kind of everything in it.
Oh yeah.
In Ericeira, and they use them as their fly curtain in their doorway. They just string them up right side by side, so they go clack 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 when you walk through them. But I don't know how effective they are keeping the flies out. I said, well, there's a creative use of all those coffee cups.
It is a creative use until we have the scourge of the African coffee fly.
There you go. It's attracted by the faint fragrance of coffee.
Saharan
them very thoroughly.
That's right. Saharan sand followed by the African coffee fly. Dan is disgusted at me. I know for a fact about the using the spoon. What about you, James? Spoon or straight in your gob? With the I like the sweet with the pastry, so I shove it in my mouth and chew it up. I think Dan does too. He wasn't at all happy with me on this. I know. He stepped out of the shadows of social media to tell me.
But that's where I put my comment. You know, when people say, "What's the best way?" It's like the best way is the way you want it.
I thought you were talking about coffee. You're talking about pastel de natas.
Well, apply it to anything.
Yes,
it works.
Very happy because my NFL team is going to the Super Bowl. When's that happening?
Mine is not.
Sorry to hear that. Rocks aren't recyclable, and the planet is over time. They are, aren't they? Who's that? Guy?
And the main point ultimately is the planet's covered with them. So, what do you want your planet covered with? Coffee cups or rocks? I'll take the rocks, thank you. And trees and flowers and
that sort of thing. Bon dia from Mel. Is it okay? Public service announcement. Is anyone else having problems with internet in the past 24 hours in this weather? It does happen. The service
use that one. So
and Ocean Dweller, Aviva, morning to you. Enjoying your correspondence. Good to hear from
Aviva.
I love the idea of eating.
Stay tuned, Aviva. I've got news.
Okay, stay right where you are. I will try it next time. There you go. She's not afraid to give it a go. The nata sans all the goo is actually quite appealing. Oh, so just the pastry.
I think the nata is the goo.
Yeah, but John maybe just wants the pastry, or maybe it's like Jack Spratt and his wife. It's the abundance of the goo that's a bit off-putting to me. If I share most of the goo bit with Pam, I'd be all over the bit. There you go.
More like frosting on your pastry as opposed to just a mouthful of it.
It's the perfect marriage, isn't it? Of someone who wants the pastry and someone who wants the goo. And goos do vary. The particular nata that I set about.
That's our new name for it, goo.
Well, it does vary because, as I said, the man in the lovely man who makes the best chicken pie in Western Europe, some of the best croissants in Portugal outside of France, and pastel de natas. His way of doing the pastel de nata or the pastéis is to make a very runny custard, and he was telling me it's hot, quente, cuidado. Because it was just out the oven and it was like molten custardy goo, and they don't ever set very hard. Whereas, you know, one that you might get in a petrol station, a gas station, was made in an industrial unit just outside Lisbon, and that bad boy is set with pork fat. That's right. You could feel it on the top of the roof of your mouth for 2 days afterwards. They turn the capsules into items. I get bags to take them back to the store in the US. There they go.
Okay.
Nice one. Cheers, Mr. S.
Well, and ultimately, if things get turned into bags in Portugal, it's great. It seems if someone buys, I forgot my bag, I'll just buy another one, which is great. But then you got 10 million plastic bags that you have to deal with somehow.
I've got bags. Yeah, I've got bad bags for Buddhist.
It definitely slows the process, and I'm not going to begrudge taking plastic that would otherwise just go into a landfill and doing something with it, making plastic furniture or whatever is great, but we can only do so much of that before that becomes a problem. So,
well, there you go.
We got to deal with the plastic issue.
Yep. Thank you, James. Now, news then. I don't think we're going to have Bob and Viv with us this morning in person. I've got a little video to play. So if you do need a few extra minutes, you're very welcome to use them. What happened in the north of Portugal?
Well, a few minutes for me could always turn into a few hours. So I'm never worried about that. So I went up to Espinho on Thursday, because I had a viewing. It's kind of an expensive viewing when you look at it. It's like, okay, a bus fare, a train ride, or a metro ride, a train ride. Anyway, a lot of time invested in getting, and then a night stay on top of it. But I've been working with Vitor Costa at Portuguese Door or Portugal Door. And he's been great. So I definitely highly recommend him in any kind of relocation. He's primarily in real estate, sales, and primarily, I think, a buyer's representative, but I think he does it all in real estate. But being who he is, he's always kind of finding a place where he can take what he's become more and more expert on and apply it. And one of those is helping to relocate people who are already in Portugal or people who are looking for places to live, whether a house or renting. In my case, it's renting. And because I contacted him through the show and we have been familiar with each other for a while, he was willing to help me in Espinho, even though he's way up in Ponte Lima, which is, if you know the geography, it's not exactly just a little 10-minute trip. At any rate, he's been helping me. He's very collaborative, and so I ended up getting most of the referrals because I was posting on Facebook Espinho sites and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a place," and then people would contact me, and I'd say I'm working with Vitor at Portugal Door, and I gave them contacts, and then he did all the stuff, which was, for me, that's the best part, is I didn't have to try to figure this out or that out. I just sent it to him and he worked it out. He had a sense of what it was I was looking for, and I was being very particular because I'm trying to realize the dream I had when I got here, which is always to be within a 5-minute walk of the beach. And even though I love Ericeira, it has my heart. It's just, but walking is not really a thing. From where I live right now, it's 4.5 kilometers to the beach. So it's not exactly a short walk just to get there. It's a longer walk coming back because it's all uphill coming back, all downhill there. And then once you're there, it's just incredibly, I say it's not hills, it's not little hills, it's mountain climbs. So, you know, it's just because I consider moving closer to the beach in Ericeira. It's like, well, I'm still have to be a mountain climber just to get to the beach and back. So it doesn't take me as long, but I'm just less inclined because I've owned my lazy. I'm not going to, I don't want to work out to take a walk, a casual stroll to the beach. So that and a whole lot of other things. Espino caught my eye. I've talked about the history of that before. And so I've been actively looking, and it's taken me 3 or 4 months from when I said, okay, I'm ready to go, to having places to look at. And I think in reality, in terms of actual viewing, my recall is exactly 2 places that we actually viewed. We had 5 or 6, maybe 8 referrals, and most of them were not what I was interested in, you know. So it was being really slow, and I said, just be patient, just be patient. It's the first time in my life where I could just take what I wanted as opposed to what was available.
Mm.
And I realized I did some personal work on that one. It's just like I was jumping at everything that was available, even if it wasn't what I wanted. It's like, oh, that's available. Get it, hurry before it goes away. It's like, you don't even want it. Just let it go. You know, but the energy is, I have to have it now. You know, it's like, no, just take a breath. You love where you are. You have an amazing relationship with Luisa and Sidonio and the family. So there's no rush. So I always had to take a beat, take a breath, be calm. And then when there was a place to look at, the idea was hopefully 3 or 4 to look at. When there was one, I would go up and take a look at it, and we'd work it out. So on Friday, we looked at a place, and it's interesting to me energetically, even from the posting that she put on Facebook. Her name is Katerina. She posted a thing saying, or she replied to my post one way or the other. I just said, there's something that's striking me energetically as this feels good. You know, I bet Vitor know, we went through the thing. He asked her for some photos. She sent photos. The photos looked really good. And I always use that map to see where the place is in relation to Espinho, which is pretty easy to locate because the streets are all numbers. So north to south, they're even, and west to east, they're odd. So you get a corner, you know exactly where in the city that block is. So we were on Rua 5, which is at the north end of Espinho. And we went to see it on Friday. It was basically everything I was looking for. And
Good news.
And Katerina was just the sweetest, friendliest, bubbly human that you've ever met, and extremely fluent in English. She said that she and her husband and their family spent 3 or 4 years in England, and that's where she got. I said, only 3 or 4 years, and you speak like that, and I'm here 3 years speaking like this.
Yes,
but it just. I told Vitor early on, I'm not in a hurry, and please hold me back when I'm going to jump at something I don't want. I just need a little help managing the emotional, and he was great at that. And the really great thing about having Vitor, especially as an immigrant and someone who's not fluent in the language, is that he mediates everything. And the service he provides is not just finding you a place. It's finding you a place, establishing a relationship with the landlord. And then once that's all done, once you have a place that you like and have negotiated the price and so on and so forth, he will either review the lease they provide or provide a lease that he has ready. And he's all about making sure it's fair for everybody. So it's not all in favor of the tenant or all in favor of the landlord. That's the way he is. He wants things to work for everyone. And he says part of the service also is ongoing. If you ever have an issue with your landlord, then let me know and I can help you, work out whatever needs to be worked out. So it's a really great service. I do highly recommend it. And if Vitor can't do it personally, I'm almost positive he's got someone somewhere in the country who can.
James, can I just pause you there for a minute?
Sure.
We've got Bob, and I'm loving this story. I'm so pleased for you. And let's find out a bit more in just a moment and more about Espino. But we've got Bob and Viv suddenly able to join us from, I don't know if it's which storm it is currently at the moment in Edinburgh. It looks like there's a slight respite from the rain. Let's bring them on. Hello, you two.
Bon dia.
Oh, you haven't got your guarda-chuva up just at the moment. Then it's a slight respite from the storm, it would appear. How are you?
Well, that storm, the storm only lasted one day.
Yeah, and then it was gone. It's been fine for 2 days here.
Has it? So I've been watching I've just been watching scandalous and clickbaity bits on the internet of ours. You've had a nice time with the sound of it in Edinburgh.
It never did get bad here in Edinburgh.
I'm glad.
We're at the train station now.
Oh, look at you. Right.
And
yeah, we're at Waverley Station on our way to King's Cross and then over to Chippenham.
Yep.
Wow, fantastic. Waverley Street. And have you had a nice time in Edinburgh?
Lovely. We love it here.
We do. Right. Spent hours upon hours up at the castle yesterday, just exploring and listening and learning. And
it was great.
Yeah. Had my first haggis. I'm a fan.
Oh, because you were there for Burns Night, weren't you?
We were. Yeah.
Brilliant time to be there. And what did you think of the haggis? Is it as good as bacalhau?
Much better.
Yes, much better.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you know what it was? Did you find out what it actually was, or is it just haggis? And that's least said, soon amended.
The contents of haggis are on a need-to-know basis.
Okay, yeah. So I thought so.
I don't need to know.
Just tasted okay. All right. What's this coffee pot doing in here? Anyway, great to see you both. Thank you for tuning in briefly. I'll do your slideshow, and you sent me a lovely video. But the main thing was I was just at this terrible vision of you being, caught up in a storm in the north of Scotland. I'm so glad you're safe and well.
It wasn't bad at all. No. That first day we just stayed in, and there was a good restaurant in the hotel, so we had food, and we didn't need anything else. So.
Right. And you tried to educate the people in Nando's about the Barcelos cockerel. Didn't go down terribly well.
Yeah, it was funny that they just didn't. I mentioned Barcelos and Portugal, and they're just like, clueless. And it's plastered on their wall.
Yeah.
Right. That's the funny thing about it, isn't it? The whole thing is about the Barcelos cockerel there. I think they need to employ you to go around all of the restaurants in the chain and educate the staff. That's not a bad gig to have. Someone needs to be doing that. Bob and Viv, lovely to see you. You look lovely. You look like you're having a fantastic time, and safe onward journey there. Love to King's Cross. We were talking about King's Cross the other day, me and the coach actually, about King's Cross and what a fabulous place it is now. And lots of love to the UK. Stay safe over there.
Okay.
All right.
See y'all.
Ciao. There they go. Superb. And photos to follow. More photos of their wonderful time in Edinburgh and a video. We'll pipe ourselves out of the show courtesy of a video captured by Bob as well of bagpipes. Do you like the bagpipes, James?
I do. I love them. They reach into my bone marrow.
Ooh, I say. Okay.
And I thought I was the only one, like in my family. Most people I've talked to go, oh, bagpipes. But it's like, I don't understand it. It's like, they just, I come alive. I feel like I come alive when I hear them. Now, I haven't heard every style, but yeah. And then my brother told me that he had the same reaction to them. And I said, really? I said, okay. And he said, Dad did too. And I said, how bizarre. And with my father, I never knew, short of, the 40s and 50s music he listened to when he was a teenager. I had no idea what his tastes in music were or what he liked. But the piece that then after learning that, I discovered on Ancestry.com that more than half of my genetics are Scottish and very nearly half are Irish. So it's in
the marrow. It is in the marrow.
It just must be. I don't know. And I found out that my sister loved it too. So pretty much, I don't know if my mom did or not. She was the kind of person who just like, it's nice with everything music. So I like it. Okay. Do you
Well,
really, Mom? Yeah. It's,
a treat for you then, for your Scottish side.
yes, and it's
Your
on my
Scottish-
list of places to visit. I'm definitely going to
Of course,
spend
of
some time
course.
up there at some point.
But before you go there, you need to be settling into this new part
Back
of
to Espinho.
Yeah, and it is amazing that you referenced the grid. If we zoom in a little bit, that's a very interesting promontory. I think the word for that is.
Yeah, it's a very modern layout relative to the rest of Portugal.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure why that happened. My sense is, because I've seen some old photos, that it was kind of an industrial town where they had a train go through it because the train was delivering gravel or petroleum, or I don't know what it was, but it was mostly industrial. Then it started to develop. But when it really took off, looks from the photos appears to be early 20th century.
Yeah.
And at that point, they were, setting it up in a grid. Plus, they have the geology, the geography to be able to do it. It's flat, yes. So they can just like lay it out, almost print it on the ground.
Well, it could only have been a very conscious planning decision at that time.
I think so.
That sticks out got a cheeky Portuguese name like the Fisherman's Willie or something like that?
I don't know. I've never seen it on a map quite like that. So, because it's not really those aren't really pieces of land. Those are just rock, pieces of what do they call them? I should know these things. Well, anyway, where they put the rocks up to break the. Oh, yes. That's what it is. Now I got the break. Anyway, to create kind of harbor for fishing boats to go out without getting annihilated by the waves that are coming in. Sure. So yes, they've got one at the north end and one at the south end. Yeah. And they have, from what I've heard, one of the largest outdoor markets in the country.
Yes.
And in my experience, in the world. But I haven't seen the whole world. So, but it is massive, and it's every Monday, rain or shine. So it's not
I've driven past it. When we were up in the north, we came back on a Monday through there, and we were held up in the traffic as a result of it. Yeah. And there it is. There's your location. So south of Porto.
Just south. It's about 20-30 minute. It's not the train. They have so many different kinds of trains, and it's not the metro. But anyway,
it's not the metro.
The inner city, or whatever they call it, 20 or 30 minutes. The main point about Espinho is that the train station is smack in the center of the city, maybe 200 meters off the ocean. And virtually everything is within a 5-minute walk of that train station. So it just is so accessible. They've got a public hospital. So all the things that I was looking for, they got an ocean, it's flat, so I know I'll get out and walk where I'm not doing it in Ericeira. It's got a public hospital, so I don't have to get on a bus for an hour and a half to get to Lisboa to the hospital, or, get on a bus and go a half hour to get to Mafra or Ericeira. So it's more convenient for I don't need it for emergency things, but annual checkups and things like that. So that's where I say it checked off all the boxes. It's not as beautiful in my view as Ericeira is, but it's like, can I live in Ericeira just because it's beautiful? And I love, overlooking the ocean, maybe, but ultimately when I started looking at Espinho, it's like, okay, I think I mentioned before, Ericeira is my mistress, and Espinho will be my wife.
How about that?
Someone I can be in love with and live with every day and feel great and support
and the beach
other.
walk, and you pop back and see Luisa and the family.
Yes, from time to time, and go see my lover and go, oh.
And have one of your cheeky ice creams in the village.
Yes, with 4 Italian gelato places in Ericeira.
Now, you've got your accommodation sorted then? You hit it off with
Yes, we've decided, we made the decision. Vitor and Caterina are in the process of putting the lease together. We have not a specific date, but I gave Louisa my 30 days notice that I promised her before I left. And I told Caterina, which actually ended up being another vote in my favor as a choice of tenant, as I said, well, obviously I have the obligation and the sense of responsibility that I have to give Louisa 30 days notice. I told her I would do that, which means I wouldn't be able to move in for 30 days. Is that going to be an issue? And she said, oh, no, it's fine. So
great. Well, I'm very pleased for you, and I imagine we'll be charting your progress in the move there.
More than likely.
Well, you'll be walking to the seaside. Hopefully, we'll have a few selfies of you in your. I'm thinking maybe espadrilles, no socks, a Don Johnson style Miami Vice suit, the sleeves rolled up on the jacket, t-shirt with that. That's going to be your look, I think, for Espino.
Probably not, but
probably not. Okay, fair enough. On the way to the casino, of course, it has a casino.
Whatever the look is, will probably what's the look for the standard Portuguese look, strolling on the beach. A lot of what you said was so, but that's more or less probably what it's gonna look like. That more like that.
Mr. S wants to see you in your shorts, of course.
There you go. He's loving no, who was it? That was JMC who was loving the shorts. But either way, yes.
T-Duck, good morning to you. Bon Dia Alegria, Gumpers. Feeling a bit under the weather. Sorry to hear that this morning. It's that kind of day as well, isn't it?
I'm always under the weather.
It's true, isn't it, in that sense? And maybe
whatever the weather is, but I understand. Sorry to hear it.
Ash amigo, this morning. Well, great news, James. Should we celebrate with some pictures of Scotland, which are in no way connected?
Don't get confused, audience. This is not Espino.
Right. We'll start with a video then. We got some lovely video, and we got the bagpipes and a message from Bob and Viv as well. So let's have a little smattering of visuals from the north of the
something to massage my soul.
Absolutely, and I say in no way connected, but of course, as you mentioned, your genetics are up there, aren't they, in Scotland? And I wonder what your tartan looks like. You don't have to show us it right now.
Okay. That's some good history, but I don't know that.
Oh, okay, a bit of video.
That's why they built Chapel here. This is what. So in fact, if you look at the Great Hall.
And I could hear an English voice saying, "If you look at the Great Hall."
If you look at the Great Hall.
It sounds like Harry Potter, doesn't it?
Is there a hole here somewhere? Don't fall in.
Hole, not hole, man.
Hole, not hole.
That's why I love living in a foreign country where I can't understand what's going on. I just realized again in that moment, and obviously I'm understanding more of what's going on around me, but I'm so glad not to live in the UK for that reason, where I can understand people. I don't know if that sounds really bad.
Just like
yes,
background noise.
There's Viv with the bus
with her cockerel
and the legend, which Bob tried to decode to no avail. Whatever.
Is it in English? I can't even see the print. So
yeah, but it's like whatever, Paul. What do you want to eat? Enough about your cockerel.
That's right. We don't care when it's cold.
We laddie. Right. A 3-bean coffee. That's
3-bean. I wonder if that's how you order it.
It's not out of a capsule machine.
If you really like the beans, you get a 20-bean coffee.
Really? More beans. Right.
Full beans. There's no liquid at all.
Oh, don't they look great there? There's some Tamashanta pictures going on here.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic. Lovely pictures of Bob and Viv up there in Scotland. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? The wonderful architecture and the culture of Edinburgh, or Edinburgh, if you're American.
I do love stonework, stonework architecture. And yeah, it's one of the reasons Italy is beautiful to me, is all that stonework.
Oh, yes. Bob's made a friend.
He's having quite a conversation. I wonder if it's one-sided.
Yes, are you looking at me? As they say in Scotland, are you looking at me, Paul? Yeah, lovely little. There you go. Some more stone for you.
Yes.
Is that right, Joe?
Yes.
Stone. Okay. Is this one?
Don't get that confused.
Oh yeah, here we
stoned.
Go. No. And yes, more stone, and even more stone. You couldn't be more stoned if we tried this morning.
And I can almost hear the echo anytime I see these giant cathedrals.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
Just hear the echoes, the acoustics.
All right. And as promised, then a video message from Bob and Viv, and then some bagpipes to pipe us into the day this morning. Thanks everyone for being here on this Monday. That was St. Giles Cathedral. Oh, the three beans signified the first Irish coffee, which is obviously traditional in Scotland.
What? My brain just got so confused.
Would you like Marmite on that? Congratulations on
pastel granata.
We need some Worcestershire sauce on that as well. Right.
Which is reminding me of the meme. Have you seen it?
I did, yes. It was
the opposite. It was the best of shires. It was the worst of shires.
Very, very good, Captain.
She is great.
She's the meme queen.
Yeah, she is.
Right, and congratulations on finding a new place, James, as well.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited and happy for being finding
the extended version of you today. Thank you for hanging out with me a little bit longer. Not unlike
wasn't it fine?
It was, and the way that it sticks out in Espino, just like on the map.
There you go, 2 of them.
And let us one more video, the message from Bob and Viv, and then the bagpipes. And thank you so much for being with us this morning. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Absolutely, my pleasure. See you in a week.
All right, take care, mate. Bye for now. Stay on the screen for this, though.
Okay.
Good morning. This is our view as we leave our room this morning. Can't show me, but I can show Viv. There we go.
Good morning.
Wonderful place, Cheval Old Town Chambers in Edinburgh, and 2 degrees up here. Rainy.
But no wind.
No wind right now. We survived the storm, and over there's the train station down in the lower portion where we're headed right now. So we wish everybody a wonderful day down there in Portugal, and we're headed for southern England. Ciao.
On a train. Bye.
Fabulous. Now, please be upstanding.
Where it's warm, southern England.
Right, another 2 degrees.
It's only 5. I mean, it's a warm, balmy 5 degrees there.
Please be upstanding, Mr. Holly, for a traditional piping. Who doesn't like a good piping first thing in the morning? Here we go. Enjoy. Take care. Bye for now, and see you tomorrow.